Hey guys, coming at you today with a special recipe. I made this for Van's 6-month smash cake. He was born on Christmas Eve, so we're not going to do probably a big, 1 year because we're not going to have space to do it. And I want to have everybody here and just have like a nice outdoor party, not in the middle of winter. So we're doing it a 6-month. So I'm not doing like a keto per se cake. It is very low carb still. I'm using coconut sugar and stevia to sweeten it, and we're not going to sweeten it very much at all. And we are doing baby-led weaning. We have started, so it's a very short list I had to work with to make this cake. I'll put it up here on the screen for you, all the ingredients I had to work with. And I got this list. I kind of went off research I was doing, but also Desi from Flav City. They have a video going through the supermarket looking at baby food. So I watched that one, I think even before he was born, maybe a couple months after. But she had like a list in the description box of like each month what you should be giving your child. So that's what I kind of followed. And then I realized later that she probably exclusively breastfed. So her daughter didn't have cow's milk or dairy. Well, Van has been drinking his formula, which is grass-fed milk. So I could have not done dairy-free, but I did. So it's dairy-free. It's not vegan because I'm using beef protein instead of the whey protein, which a lot of you have asked if you can use this in recipes, and I found it works pretty similar. But I had to up the coconut flour a little bit and decrease the beef protein just because I thought the beef protein gave it kind of a weird flavor. And it's not egg-free, but I think you can do it with 2 flax eggs instead of the 4 egg yolks that I'm using for a smash cake. But Desi mentioned that the proteins in egg whites could mess with your gut, even in adults. So you should wait a little while to introduce egg whites. I think that's the rundown on this cake. I'm going to make some cupcakes so we can actually try it too. And we're making a frosting. So let's get started. It's going to be a little weird because I'm shooting in my regular kitchen, which I haven't done in a long time. So I have coconut oil in here. I'm doubling the recipe like I said, so it's 6 ounces. Most of my recipes that have butter in them, you can swap out coconut oil or avocado oil. I've done both and they seem to work pretty well. I'm using 4 tablespoons of coconut sugar. And we're just going to whip that until it's nice and fluffy and incorporated. And while that's going, we're going to separate 8 eggs. I'm only making him a tiny 6-inch cake. So half this recipe will make you a nice cake about that big. You can cut it in half and fill it. So it's a pretty small cake, but you don't want a huge cake for a smash cake anyways. You know, they're not going to eat the whole thing. It's kind of just for adults and pictures anyways. So we're going to get that whipping, and while it's whipping, I'm going to separate my eggs. If you want to save your egg whites, make sure you do a separate container so that in case you break a yolk, you don't contaminate all your egg whites. We're going to scrape this down. You see the coconut sugar is kind of up on the edge, but it doesn't get nice and creamy. I mean, the sugar's not going to dissolve like regular sugar. Coconut sugar is not going to dissolve. You can also add vanilla into here. There's a lot of things you can do with this. I'm keeping it super simple because he hasn't had a lot of food yet. So that's why we're very simple ingredients here. You can also add nuts at the end if you want. So we're going to add the egg yolks one at a time. Or 3 at a time. Stop and scrape down. Oh, I'm going to preheat my oven to 325. Now we're going to get the rest of our dry ingredients. If I was making this for a normal person and not a baby, I'd be putting some salt in it because we have no salt in this recipe. I was thinking about putting it in, but then I'm like, babies' kidneys can't take a lot of sodium, so I'm just going to forego it. 42 grams of coconut flour. Well, 84. We're doubling it. I'm going to end up messing something up here. This is basically a variation of my vanilla cake, which I turned into a new carrot cake recipe also. Need 1 teaspoon of baking powder, or 4 grams, 3/4 teaspoon of baking soda, 1/2 teaspoon of xanthan gum, and then beef protein isolate. It comes with a scoop. I did a 1/2 scoop for a 6-inch cake, so we're gonna do 1 scoop. Should be 30 grams. That's only 20 grams. So, it says 30 grams on the back of the package. So, there we go. You have to be really full. And then 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. This is the only spice he's going to get so far. We're going to hold off on every other spice for a little while anyways. And then a teaspoon of stevia powdered. This stuff is super, super concentrated. It comes with an 1/8 teaspoon measuring spoon inside. I'm doing 2. See, I didn't double any of that other stuff. Oh, knew that was going to happen. So this is the baking soda, baking powder. He's also sleeping right now, so I'm hoping to get this done before he wakes up. We're whisking everything together so we don't have pockets of xanthan or baking soda. We also have to get our milk. We're basically making our own buttermilk here. So 2 teaspoons of apple cider vinegar and 4 ounces of coconut milk. So that's going to instantly like kind of curdle. Oven's ready. Okay, the last thing is 50 grams of carrot, which it's usually about 2 tiny guys. Let's see what happens here. I don't know where half the stuff is in my kitchen anymore. Oh. Time-saving trick is to have a garbage bowl. If you ever watched 30-Minute Meals, you know that one from back in the day. Rachel Ray. But it really is helpful. Or if you have a garbage close by, have it near you, and just put everything right in there. Kitchen's definitely not set up to cook and film at the same time. But they're all in one area, and I can just... Garbage is over there. Let's use our same container from our egg yolks. And we're just going to use the big side of the grater here. That was about 21 grams. There you go. Didn't even need all this carrot here. And I got some left in here. I can probably save it to give to him for lunch. Okay, now to put all this into here. Basically, we're just going to alternate wet and dry ingredients and then add our carrots. And that's it. Maybe scrape down once or twice. It's gonna be a pretty thick batter. I haven't tried making this into cupcakes yet, so we'll see how it turns out. I also haven't made it upstairs. I've only experimented in the bakery, so. I like to just fold in the carrot. Easier that way. Otherwise, it just all gets stuck in your beater. So it's a really stiff batter. This was pretty fast. We didn't get a chance to line our pan, so we're gonna have to do that and then get this in the oven. So what I usually do, I get these already square baking sheets. It's so much easier than the rolls. I hate the rolls. I always get the already folded ones. And then I fold it in half again and then fold it into a triangle and then sometimes another triangle if I can. And then I try to find the middle of my pan and then cut. Oh, I got 2. All right. That works. Now I have 1 for another cake. Definitely gotta spray this down. I spray the bottom and all the sides. This is my favorite avocado spray. It is expensive, but it always sprays. It's almost empty and it's spraying perfectly still. I love it. So there's our pan. So I'm gonna try and like just take half of this and get it in there. 2 tools I always say you should have: offset spatula and a scale. Especially for our kind of cooking, like you can see our batter is really thick. There's no way you're gonna get it like nice and patted down with anything bigger. Even with a small offset, it's hard because it's still mounted in the middle. These are like wedding cake pans, so they're like really thick. He's already awake. He has not been sleeping well. Last week he was taking 2-hour naps for me the whole time. I'm going to throw this in the oven. I'm going to start with 13 minutes and I'm going to turn it 13 more minutes. The rest we're going to do cupcakes. I'll start with 6, talking to himself in there. I'll put these down below. I have, they were out for a while. Nice thing is he doesn't really cry. He just talks to himself. Or he's talking to his stuffed animals. Or his mobile or above him. Who knows? We have enough for 2 more. Okay, so 8 cupcakes and a 6-inch. A little bit more. You can obviously do this with Locanto Golden Monk Fruit Sweetener instead of the coconut, and it would be keto. I just don't want to give him sugar alcohols just yet. If I do, it'll be in moderation a little bit later, maybe after 1 year. Okay, I'm going to pop these in. I have no idea how long they're going to take. So we'll be back when everything's out of the oven, and probably with Van. So the cupcakes have been going for 20 minutes. They're almost done. See, they're almost solid in the middle. That needs to go for at least another 3. I'm going to pull those out. I'm going to check them with a toothpick. That guy's still very wet in the middle. It's been so long, I don't know where my toothpicks are. They're not like, let me see, like, there's no goo on there really. It's a little wet, but it's more oily. I'm going to set that for another like 5 minutes. Again, this is the first time cooking in this oven, so I did it downstairs, not up here. Still pretty soft, but I think it's almost done. It's a very soft cake. I'm just going to go another like 3 minutes, just to be sure. Okay, I'm going to pull it out. Let's give it a little check. Just oily, no real batter on it. It springs back when you touch it. Now I'm going to put this up to 400 to bake. Sweet potatoes. Now baking for about an hour at 400. You want them super, super mushy to make this frosting for the cake. If you want to make a non-dairy frosting that's keto, I would use, you can either do coconut oil, which I have had work, but it melts super easily. You can also find at Wegmans and some other specialty stores, I'm sure, sustainably sourced palm shortening, and you can use that to make a dairy-free frosting. You can also probably use vegan cream cheese frosting and vegan butter. I just haven't done much experimenting with vegan products, so that's kind of up to you. This is for a babe though, so sweet potatoes and coconut oil. Okay, we got about 30 minutes left on the sweet potatoes. I'm going to get my cake unstuck. Don't mind Van, he's just fussing on the floor. So it should come out super easily. Let that cool. I'm actually going to probably put this in the refrigerator soon so it gets nice and solid. Because the coconut oil in there will keep it nice and moist and soft. So we got to put it in the fridge to get it to set up a little bit more. It's been an hour. So you can see like sugars are starting to come out of here. That's when you know you're close. Stab it. If it's super mushy, they are done. I'm going to let these cool for a little while, and I'm going to put Van to sleep, and hopefully he'll sleep and, you know, take his nap, and we'll make the frosting and frost the cake. Okay, he's still whining a little bit. Got to get this made. So what I did the first time was there's about 250 grams of sweet potatoes to a quarter cup of stevia, or quarter cup of melted coconut oil. So I'm going to measure these two. Literally just pull the skin off and plop it right in your bowl. So it's about 206, about what I got last time. Oh, hot, still very hot. Got any knots? Make sure those don't get in there. I got like this like hard piece. Put this on our mixer and just start whipping it and stream in our coconut oil. Scrape down some that's not in there. There's a big chunk that's stuck in there. And just let this whip until it's pretty cool. The only other ingredient, a little bit of stevia. While that is whipping and cooling, I'm going to cut our cake. I just have an 8-inch round here. You put it on whatever plate, platter you want to put it on. But that's what I got. We're going to cut it and then throw it back in the refrigerator to cool some more. Super moist. Okay, our cake is chilled. Our frosting is cool. We are going to get to frosting. You want your cake pretty cold so that this will set up as soon as you put it on the cake. And of course, I can't find my other little one. Give it a taste. Nice and sweet. Basically better for you baby food with the coconut oil instead of their gross ingredients they add. I only added a half cup of coconut oil and it was perfectly fine. Didn't need any extra. There you go. A 6-month-old's smash cake. Let's just try one of the cupcakes by themselves. So this could be vegan if you do a pea protein of some kind. Not sure exactly the ratios you'll need. Like I said, I did a lot less of the powder, so I don't think it'd make that big a difference if you used a pea protein or something like that. But it's like super soft. And then you can use your flax eggs if you want it egg free. It's already dairy free. So instead, use golden monk fruit instead of the coconut sugar if you want it keto. It's almost sweet enough for me. So that's telling you something. You don't need a lot of coconut sugar or stevia. You need a little bit of bulk from some kind of sweetener, but stevia can usually do most of the job. And it's super good. Super moist. Super soft. Really good. I'll figure out the macros for this with golden monk fruit sweetener, and I'll put that down in the description box as well as this actual cake for low carb people. Make sure you check out the blog post. KetoUpgrade.info is my blog. I put all my substitutions, everything that I pretty much say in this video, and some things I think of afterwards in that blog. So make sure you check that out, and I'll have all the info there for you. Not a well-known fact, you can't put everything in your description box. You can only do a certain number of characters. So that's why you need a blog in order to put in all like the special things in the actual full recipe and all the substitutions you can make. I hope you guys enjoy this recipe and you find it helpful for if you have a grandson or granddaughter that needs a smash cake or something like that. You can do this really easily. And you can make it for other people too. You can make a different kind of frosting for the cupcakes, make them a little cake, whatever you want to do. Make sure you check out my Amazon links and the blog link to the full recipe in the description box below. Thank you for subscribing. Give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And as always, I'll be back with more keto, low carb, gluten-free baby dessert recipes. Bye guys.